In the cold, vast expanse of space, the human fleet sailed through the cosmos like a wave of steel and light. Captain Elias Carter stood at the bridge of the flagship, the Endeavor, his eyes scanning the stars that stretched infinitely before him. The fleet was a sight to behold, sleek, advanced ships, each a marvel of human ingenuity and alien technology. They were on a crucial mission, one that could alter the balance of power in the galaxy. "Captain Carter, we're approaching the target system," announced Lieutenant Maria Sanchez, her voice steady and professional. "Understood, Lieutenant," Elias replied, nodding. The target was an uncharted planet, rich in resources and strategically important. The fleet's objective was to establish a new base, a foothold that would secure their influence in this part of the galaxy. Ambassador Nyla, the alien diplomat who had recently joined the human coalition, stood beside Elias. Her calm demeanor and sharp eyes were a contrast to the tension that gripped the bridge. Nyla had brought in valuable intelligence about the region, but even she couldn't predict what they might encounter. As the fleet neared the planet, the stars seemed to dim in comparison to the bright, swirling colors of the planet below. It was a beautiful sight, but Elias knew better than to let beauty cloud his judgment. The galaxy was unpredictable and dangerous, and the unknown often harbored hidden threats. "Prepare for descent," Elias commanded. The ships began their descent into the planet's atmosphere, their engines humming with power. But as they entered the atmosphere, a sudden alert blared through the ship. "Captain, we're detecting an incoming fleet." Maria's voice cut through the tension on the bridge. "It's a surprise attack." The human fleet sprang into action. The ships maneuvered swiftly, their advanced shields and weapon systems activating to defend against the sudden onslaught. Elias's heart raced as he gave orders, directing his fleet to counter the enemy's attack. The attacking fleet was formidable, their ships sleek and menacing, equipped with advanced weaponry that rivaled the humans. The battle was fierce, a chaotic dance of energy blasts and explosions. Elias and his crew fought valiantly, their training and technology pushing them to the limit. Despite their best efforts, the enemy's surprise attack took a toll. One of the human ships, the Aegis, was heavily damaged, its hull scarred and smoking. The crew aboard the Aegis fought bravely, but the damage was severe. Elias's heart sank as he watched the ship struggle, its fate uncertain. "Captain, we've repelled the initial attack," Maria reported, her voice tinged with exhaustion. "But we've suffered losses. The Aegis is in critical condition." Elias took a deep breath, trying to steady his racing thoughts. "Send rescue teams to the Aegis. We need to assess the damage and provide aid. We can't afford to lose any more ships." As the fleet regrouped, Elias convened a meeting with his senior officers and allies. The atmosphere was heavy with the weight of their losses and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. The enemy's attack had revealed their advanced technology and formidable capabilities, making it clear that their mission would be far more challenging than anticipated. "We need to reevaluate our strategy," Elias said, addressing the gathered leaders. "This attack shows that we're not the only ones vying for control of this region. We must proceed with caution and gather more intelligence before making our next move." The leaders nodded, their expressions a mix of determination and concern. They understood the gravity of the situation and the need for a united front. As the fleet continued its mission, the mood was somber but resolute. The battle had been a stark reminder of the dangers lurking in the galaxy, but it also strengthened their resolve. They were no longer just exploring. They were fighting for their place in a galaxy full of uncertainty. Captain Elias Carter looked out at the stars, the endless expanse that now seemed both daunting and full of potential. The road ahead would be difficult, but the human fleet was ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The dawn of their new era had begun, and with it came the promise of both great challenges and great opportunities. The human fleet had barely begun to recover from the ambush when new, unsettling signals began to appear on their scanners. Captain Elias Carter stood at the bridge of the Endeavor, his eyes narrowing as he studied the data on the holo display. "Captain, we've picked up faint signals from the neighboring star system," Lieutenant Maria Sanchez reported, her brow furrowed with concern. "The readings are inconsistent and highly irregular. They don't match any known technology." Elias tapped a button on the console, bringing up the star system's coordinates. The signals were coming from a remote and uncharted area, far from the planet they had originally targeted. The system had been classified as a potential hotspot for resources, but the signals were an unexpected complication. Ambassador Nyla, any insights? Elias asked, turning to the alien diplomat who had become a crucial member of their team. Nyla's eyes glowed softly as she analyzed the data. The patterns are unfamiliar, but they resemble ancient encryption techniques used by the Shadows. They are a species we've only heard whispers about, secretive and elusive. Elias felt a shiver of unease. The Shadows were a legendary race in galactic lore, known for their technological prowess and mysterious nature. If they were involved, the fleet's mission could be in grave danger. "Prepare a reconnaissance team," Elias ordered. "We need to investigate these signals and find out who or what is behind them." The fleet's smaller scout ships, equipped for stealth and exploration, were dispatched to the coordinates. As they approached the source of the signals, the team discovered an abandoned space station orbiting a desolate moon. The station's design was old but advanced, with intricate technology that seemed far beyond its apparent age. Inside the station, the team encountered signs of recent activity. The control rooms were cluttered with strange alien devices and cryptic symbols. Maria's team worked quickly to decrypt the station's data logs, hoping to uncover valuable information. "What's this?" Maria asked, holding up a data pad with a strange symbol. The screen flickered to life, displaying a series of unsettling messages. "It looks like a distress signal," Nyla said, examining the screen. "It's fragmented, but it indicates that the Shadows are planning something significant. We need to find out more." Just then, alarms blared throughout the station. The team realized they were not alone. Shadows of the unknown, the elusive enemies, had detected their presence. The team had to act fast. "We're under attack!" one of the scouts shouted as dark, shadowy figures emerged from the station's corridors. The Shadows were formidable, their forms shifting and blending into the darkness. The human team fought back bravely, using their advanced weaponry and tactical skills to hold off the Shadows. Despite their efforts, the Shadows were relentless and seemed to be everywhere at once. The battle was chaotic, with both sides exchanging blows in a confined, dark space. "Retreat!" Elias's voice came through the comms as the situation grew desperate. "Fall back to the ships!" The team made a hasty retreat, narrowly escaping the station as it became engulfed in flames. They regrouped aboard the Endeavor, shaken but alive. The data they had gathered was crucial but incomplete. The Shadow's intentions remained shrouded in mystery. Back on the Endeavor, Elias and his senior officers gathered to review the mission's outcome. The fleet had suffered losses, and the Shadow's unexpected attack had left them on edge. "We've encountered a dangerous new enemy," Elias said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We need to be prepared for anything. Our mission is no longer just about establishing a base. It's about surviving and uncovering the true extent of the Shadow's plans." Nyla, still recovering from the encounter, nodded in agreement. "We must tread carefully. The Shadows are a formidable force, and their hidden fortress could be the key to understanding their motives." With the Shadows now a pressing threat, the fleet's mission took on a new urgency. The journey ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty, but Elias and his crew were resolved to uncover the truth. The galaxy was full of Shadows, and they were determined to shine a light on the unknown. The human fleet, battered but undeterred, drifted cautiously through the star system where the mysterious signals had originated. The encounter with the Shadows had left them with more questions than answers. Captain Elias Carter knew that uncovering the Shadows' hidden fortress was their next crucial step. The Endeavor and its accompanying ships moved silently, their sensors scanning the space around them. Ambassador Nyla, alongside Lieutenant Maria Sanchez, worked diligently to decode the fragmented data they had retrieved from the abandoned space station. "We've identified a probable location," Nyla announced, pointing to a region of space marked on the holo display. "The signals suggest a heavily fortified structure hidden within this asteroid belt. The Shadows have clearly gone to great lengths to conceal it." Elias stared at the display, noting the dense cluster of asteroids. Navigating through them would be risky, but the fortress was likely worth the risk. He turned to his crew. "Prepare for stealth mode. We need to approach cautiously. We don't know what we'll find." As the fleet entered the asteroid belt, the ships slowed their approach, their advanced sensors and stealth systems engaged. The asteroids, ranging from small rocks to massive boulders, created a treacherous environment. The crew worked in tense silence, their focus unwavering as they carefully maneuvered through the rocky debris. Suddenly, a warning light flashed on the bridge. "Captain, we're detecting energy readings from a hidden structure within the asteroid field," Maria reported. "It's heavily shielded and well hidden." "Maintain stealth," Elias ordered. "We need to find a way inside without alerting them." The fleet's scout ships moved closer, their sensors probing the area for any weaknesses in the fortress's defenses. They discovered a small, concealed docking bay embedded within an asteroid, partially shielded from the fortress's external sensors. "Docking procedures initiated," Elias said as the scout ships approached the bay. "Let's see what's inside." The ships docked silently, and the crew disembarked into the dark, cavernous interior of the hidden fortress. The space was cold and eerie, lit only by the occasional flicker of malfunctioning lights. The walls were lined with advanced alien technology, its purpose unclear but menacing. As the team ventured deeper into the fortress, they encountered heavily fortified corridors and automated defense systems. Nyla led the way, using her knowledge of Shadow's technology to disable traps and bypass security protocols. "Stay alert," Elias cautioned. "We don't know what kind of resistance we might encounter." The team reached the central control room of the fortress, a vast chamber filled with complex machinery and glowing consoles. At the center of the room was a massive holographic display showing a map of the galaxy, with several systems highlighted in red. "What is this?" Maria wondered aloud as she examined the display. "It looks like a list of targets," Nyla explained. "The Shadows are planning a major offensive. They're targeting key strategic locations across the galaxy." Elias frowned. "We need to stop this. If the Shadows' plans come to fruition, they could destabilize the entire region." As they gathered crucial information, the shadows of the fortress began to stir. Dark figures emerged from the corners, their forms shifting and blending with the darkness. The shadows were closing in. "We've been detected," Elias shouted. "Prepare for a fight!" The team fought fiercely against the shadows, using their advanced weapons and tactical skills. The shadows were formidable opponents, their movements swift and unpredictable. The battle was intense, with both sides exchanging heavy fire in the dimly lit chamber. "Fall back!" Elias ordered as the situation grew dire. "We need to get out of here!" The team retreated through the labyrinthine corridors of the fortress, pursued by the relentless shadows. They made a desperate dash back to their ships, narrowly escaping the fortress as it was engulfed in explosions. Back aboard the Endeavor, Elias and his crew reviewed the information they had secured. The Shadows' plans were clear. They intended to launch a coordinated attack on key systems, aiming to seize control and reshape the galaxy. "We've gathered valuable intelligence," Elias said, his voice resolute. "But we've also learned that the Shadows are a serious threat. We need to prepare for their offensive and strengthen our alliances." As the fleet left the hidden fortress behind, the sense of urgency was palpable. The journey ahead was fraught with danger, but Elias and his crew were determined to face the challenges and protect the galaxy from the looming threat of the Shadows. The human fleet, now fully aware of the Shadows' plans, gathered at a secure location in the galaxy, preparing for the impending conflict. Captain Elias Carter stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, his face set in a determined expression as he addressed his crew. "Everyone listen up," Elias began, his voice commanding. "We've uncovered the Shadows' plans. They're launching a major offensive across several key systems. Our mission now is to stop them before it's too late. We need to strike hard and fast." Lieutenant Maria Sanchez nodded, her face tense but resolute. "We've allied with several other species affected by the Shadows. They're ready to join forces with us. It's time to show them what we're capable of." Ambassador Nyla, who had been working tirelessly to coordinate with their new allies, added, "Our combined forces will be crucial in this battle. We've set up a strategic plan to hit the Shadows at their weak points and disrupt their offensive." The fleet's preparation was meticulous. Ships were armed with the latest weaponry, and the combined forces practiced their maneuvers in simulated battles. Each ship and crew member was ready for the challenge ahead. As the fleet approached the target system, Elias and his team reviewed the final battle plan. The Shadows had concentrated their forces on a heavily fortified space station that served as their command center. It was a massive structure bristling with defenses and guarded by a fleet of shadow warships. "We're going to hit them hard and fast," Elias said, pointing to the holographic display. "Our objective is to breach the station, disable their command systems, and disrupt their ability to coordinate the offensive. The fleet moved into position, the ships emerging from stealth mode to reveal their powerful formations. The battle was about to begin. The first wave of the attack was launched with precision. Human and allied forces unleashed a barrage of firepower at the shadow defenses. The shadows, caught off guard by the sudden assault, scrambled to mount a defense. Their ships were sleek and agile, but the combined might of the human fleet and their allies pressed the attack relentlessly. In the midst of the chaos, Elias coordinated the fleet's efforts from the bridge of the Endeavor. "Maintain pressure on their outer defenses," he ordered. "We need to create a breach for our boarding teams." Lieutenant Maria Sanchez led a squadron of fighters through the barrage of enemy fire. The fighters weaved through the debris and enemy ships, focusing on taking down key defensive turrets and clearing a path for the larger ships. The Endeavor and its allies pressed forward, launching a coordinated assault on the space station's outer hull. Explosions rocked the station as the human fleet's heavy weapons tore through its defenses. The Shadow's command center was exposed, and the time had come for the final push. Elias and a team of elite soldiers prepared to board the space station. They teleported into the station's docking bay, their advanced armor and weapons ready for the fight. The team fought their way through the dark corridors, encountering fierce resistance from the Shadows. The air was thick with tension as they battled their way to the heart of the station. The control room was a hive of activity, with Shadows scrambling to respond to the attack. Elias and his team fought their way through, disabling key systems and planting charges to disrupt the station's operations. As the team planted the final charge, the Shadow's leader, a towering figure cloaked in dark energy, appeared. The confrontation was intense, with the leader using every advantage of their advanced technology to counter the human team's efforts. In a climactic battle, Elias and his team managed to defeat the Shadow's leader, their victory coming at a high cost. The final charge detonated, causing massive explosions that crippled the station and disrupted the Shadow's command systems. The human fleet and their allies pressed their advantage, pushing the remaining Shadows into retreat. The battle was won, but the cost was significant. Ships were damaged and lives were lost. The victory, though hard-earned, marked a turning point in the conflict. As the fleet regrouped and tended to their wounded, Elias stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, looking out at the wreckage of the space station. "We've won this battle," he said, his voice weary but resolute. "But the war isn't over. We need to continue working together to ensure that the Shadows can never threaten the galaxy again." With the Shadows' command center destroyed and their offensive disrupted, the fleet began the difficult task of rebuilding and preparing for the challenges that lay ahead. The fight was far from over, but the human fleet had proven their strength and resilience, ready to face whatever the future held. The aftermath of the final battle was both a victory and a challenge. The space around the damaged space station was littered with debris, and the once menacing Shadows command center was now a smoldering wreck. The human fleet, alongside their allies, had emerged victorious but at a significant cost. Captain Elias Carter stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, his gaze fixed on the wreckage of the Shadows' fortress. The battle had been won, but the galaxy's future was still uncertain. The task ahead was daunting: to rebuild, restore, and create a new order from the chaos. "Captain, we've received communications from our allies," Lieutenant Maria Sanchez reported, her voice filled with a mix of relief and exhaustion. "They're ready to start discussions about the new governance and the future of the galaxy." Elias nodded. "It's time we address the galaxy's new direction. We need to ensure that this victory leads to a lasting peace." Ambassador Nyla, who had been instrumental in forming alliances during the conflict, was already working on the details. "The representatives from the allied species are ready to meet. They're eager to discuss the formation of a new coalition." The meeting took place aboard the Endeavor, which had been turned into a temporary headquarters for the negotiations. Representatives from various species gathered, their faces a mixture of hope and wariness. The room was filled with discussions about rebuilding and establishing a new order. Elias addressed the assembled representatives. "We've fought hard to protect our homes and our future. Now we have the opportunity to build a new galactic order, one based on cooperation, mutual respect, and peace. It's up to us to shape this new era." Nyla added, "The Shadows were a formidable foe, but their defeat has shown us the strength of unity. We must ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. A new coalition can provide the stability and fairness that the galaxy needs. The representatives debated various proposals, discussing the formation of a new governing body that would oversee the galaxy's affairs. The goal was to create a system that balanced the interests of all species and prevented any one group from dominating. As discussions continued, Elias and his team worked to address the immediate needs of the galaxy. The human fleet helped to coordinate relief efforts for planets affected by the conflict. They provided aid, repaired damaged infrastructure, and worked to restore order in the war-torn regions. Amidst the recovery efforts, Elias met with Neela to discuss the progress of the negotiations. "How are the talks going?" he asked. Nyla smiled, though her eyes showed signs of fatigue. "The negotiations are challenging but promising. The representatives are committed to finding common ground. It's clear that everyone wants a better future, and that's a good start." Over the next few weeks, the new coalition began to take shape. The representatives worked together to draft a charter that would guide the galaxy's new governance. The charter emphasized cooperation, transparency, and the protection of all species' rights. The inauguration of the new coalition was a momentous occasion. Representatives from across the galaxy gathered to celebrate the formation of a new era. The ceremony was held aboard the Endeavor, which had been transformed into a symbol of hope and unity. Elias, Nyla, and other key figures addressed the assembly. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for the galaxy," Elias said, his voice resonating with pride and determination. "We've faced great challenges and made great sacrifices. Now, we stand together to build a future of peace and prosperity." As the ceremony concluded, the representatives signed the charter, officially establishing the new coalition. The galaxy's future was uncertain, but the formation of the new order marked a hopeful turning point. In the days that followed, the human fleet continued its role as a guardian and ally, working to support the coalition's efforts and ensure that the new order was upheld. The road to peace was long and filled with challenges, but the foundation had been laid. Captain Elias Carter stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, looking out at the stars. The galaxy was a vast and complex place, but the victory over the shadows had shown that unity and determination could overcome even the greatest of threats. As the fleet set course for new adventures and challenges, Elias knew that the journey ahead would be filled with opportunities to shape a better future. The new order was a testament to the strength and resilience of the galaxy's inhabitants, a beacon of hope in the dark expanse of space.